listening to Thoughtless Casual Gaming with Brett and Jace. We are a Geelong-based gaming podcast where we play games badly and then talk badly about them. Badly.
Also, we hit record badly, apparently, if we count what just happened in the reset.
That was hilarious. There's a funny thing I've seen all day where Jace hit record and then promptly booted himself out of the...
Booted myself. I don't know what the fuck happened. Either way, we're here now. Also, we're not just here because we have a brand new friend joining us. It's not a brand new friend. It's an old friend, but a new voice for you. Say hi.
Very old friend. I don't know whether that just aged me immediately. My name's Adam.
Good morning, Mr. No.
I've had to put up with these rascally rat bags for way too long, and them probably more so putting up with me.
All of the above.
All of the above. I mean, Adam, you were probably one of the very first hobbyists that I got to know when I moved down to Geelong.
It's a bit of a habit for me.
Just stands at the entry to the city, just accosting people. Be like, "Do you want to play some games?"
Yeah, let's close
Jump
the
in my van.
Really brings the punters in. But no, I've been kicking around this hobby scene for, God, it's been 25 years now. I've been.
Don't do the math.
I know. Yet again, every time I open my mouth, I age myself again. I'm gonna be a lich by the end of this episode. Like thousands of years old. Every time I mention about how I've been around this hobby, because it's been a solid whack, and but it's been good times. It's been good times. I am one of the mods for one of the admins for the Geelong Wargamers Facebook group. If you're not on there yet, probably not a bad place to jump on. A lot of the other peripheral Geelong gaming things link in there, so it's a good hub.
I didn't even know it had admins.
It does. It's myself.
Can you start doing your goddamn job?
Well, look, one of it. No, I do. You'll notice how pristine, beautiful, clean, and unadulterated our Geelong Wargamers Facebook group is. It's only filled with the best hobby content. So, if you disagree, then I'm not doing my job.
Great, agreed. So, with that in mind, forever ago, you've been playing games and doing hobbies and stuff. But what's the hobby flavor of choice? Where did you come from? Where have we gone?
First love was 40K. Continuing love. That's one I haven't let go. It's an abusive relationship. I've been with the 40K system through. We're now in 11th edition now, so that's going to be 9 different editions of 40K I have survived through.
That's a chunk.
It's a chunk, and every edition I have actively played. I didn't take a hiatus. I've never stepped away.
I mean, I've got the very first book, but I can't say that I've played every edition. I've played maybe 4 editions.
I think a big part of it was out of necessity because I've been running a 40K tournament, which is now hitting its 18th year of existence.
Interestingly, that very tournament is the reason I learnt and first played 40K, because that was the first one that you ran. I actually learnt to play 40K for, painted an army and went to.
We have been a bit of an important sort of stepping stone for a lot of people in and out of 40K and into other hobbies. But yeah, so for those of you who are curious, I'm the head TO for the Geelong Heresy tournament. It's my oldest child. It's now old enough to drive. It's old enough to drink. It's kind of scary to have a virtual tournament child of that age, but needless to say, we've been kicking on since 4th edition with that tournament. We've played through every edition. always doing the dumb shit. We're bringing the biggest titans, the most unusual forward row rules, the largest game size, and the quirkiest missions. And that hasn't changed, and it probably won't ever change. So if you want goofy 40K, then we have arguably the best tournament in Australia and have for a long time.
If you want dumb shit, we got the best dumb shit you can. There will not be shit that is dumber.
Our shit is the dumbest, straight up.
That's the way you've got to be. I mean, if anyone that's been to our tournaments knows that we play the same way. The stupider, the better.
I've heard of the way you guys play Blood Bowl, and I think we're definitely kindred spirits on that front.
I mean, Blood Bowl's a stupid game, and we play it even stupider.
I mean, I was going to ask when you said it was an abusive relationship for 40K, which way the abuse was going, if I'm honest, but...
Actually, no. You do make a good point, because I think I have bastardized that game system to within an inch of its life. Every edition, I've taken it to the extremes to make it palatable for what I require, which is beer hammer. That's the bottom line. I want to be able to make an event that people can go to, can have as many drinks as they should aspire to at the bar, and come out the other end of it feeling like they've had a good time.
And from someone who's attended a number of those events, I would also suggest that your aim here is to run a tournament where you can have as many beers as you should aspire to at the bar, and somehow it continues to run.
Okay, so this is a very important part of what I bring to the tournament. The cross-eye bear is
not all heroes.
We're not all heroes wear capes, guys. Let me be completely honest. I do tend to take on the responsibility of setting the pace at the bar,
and every player needs to match
at the same time.
Is there an award for that at least?
I can't give myself an award, so
no, but match the TO. I feel like we just use you as a pace car, and anyone who could match the pace, that there's a separate award pool.
Okay, this one's going out to any prospective Geelong Heresy tournament attendees. This one's going to the punters. If you want to make that into an award and step up to the plate and set the pace, I will gladly be there for that, and I will gladly award you. But you have to also play 40K for the weekend. So
you have to play. You have to overtake the amount of drinks drunk.
Yeah,
and you have to survive.
Well, that's third optional. We can do a posthumous award.
I mean, I feel like that's quitting though. Well, if you decide to keel over during that, like, it'd be better.
Yeah, look. Let's be honest. Dyers be quitters. Are we right? Yeah, they don't have it.
Yeah, the Oscars said the same thing to Heath Ledger.
Damn, too soon.
Oh shit. Well, anyway, but 40K is a thing. Running dumbass corners is a thing. It's not the only thing, though.
Not the only thing. I've had a very enjoyable foray into a game system that has come out recently that is even grimmer and darker than the grimmest, darkest 41st millennium. Trench Crusade.
How topical? Because that is exactly what we're here for, right?
Spicy topic, almost as spicy as the Vindaloo I had tonight. I'm
glad we're doing this remotely.
I had to take a break. It was they made it proper, and I was a bit emotional. Not as emotional as I get about Trench Crusade, but quite emotional.
So, Trench Crusade, for those following at home, all that waffle up until now, the last 9.5 minutes has just been trash. That is why we're here.
Yes.
What the fuck is this game? Where did it come from? What's going on? We're going to learn things. And fortunately, we have somebody far more experienced than ourselves, which is a low bar to admit.
We've got someone who has thrown themselves into the proverbial trenches
Tell us about Trench Crusade. What is it? What does it have trenches, and are they crusading?
Funnily enough, yes and yes.
Excellent.
And that is one of the greatest charms of the game. It give you a little bit of sort of off the box art history kind of side of things. It was a game designed first of all from artwork by Mike Franchina, who just was just sketching a whole heap of really kind of horrific things that had early 1900s aesthetics and demonic or otherwise horrific aspects attached to them. And Tomas Purinen, our savior, renowned Mordheim rules creator.
I was about to say, there's a name we know from a lot of games.
Goes from way back. Also heavy influence in a lot of the classic fantasy rule books, and he's no stranger to the hobby. He thought, well, I can make a rule set out of this, and they did a Kickstarter, and they had, best word for it, meaningful aspirations. Wanted to maybe hit 300K.
It was modest, right? It was like, hey, we're going to make a game. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be another skirmish game. It's just going to be part of the skirmish game sort of morass, and it's going to appease to those who like their grim a bit more grim, their dark a bit darker. And then the Kickstarter went
fucking bonkers, right?
I think it was
quote.
Please don't quote me on numbers, but I think it was like 3.5 million by the end of the Kickstarter.
It was a little bit more. A little bit more than they expected.
Big numbers. It went off the hook. It turns out whatever they were bringing to the table was something that people, like the little fishies, were biting. People wanted this. This is the game system that, for a lot, especially for a lot of the old guard like myself, when something was just a little bit more, I guess, a bit nasty, a bit gritty, a bit more horrific than what was being provided by the grimdark of the 41st millennium. So we all jumped on it.
It's actually funny thinking about that, because it feels like the 41st millennium is trying to get grimmer. Like they are slowly trying to add some grimness, some grime to their own laws. And I can't help but feel in some way that has to be a response to, oh my God, people are doubling down on their desire for vicarious trauma.
There was a solid analysis by Arbiter Ian on YouTube. And he went and had a look through the 11th edition trailer. And looking at a lot of the themes and how they really kind of steered away from Space Marines are big heroes and we are the champions of the universe into everyone's evil and your life is meaningless and the future is god-awful and everyone is going to either enslave you, torture you, or devour you, or is going to consume your soul for eternity. Take your pick. And
we love fortune.
Really, spin that.
Also,
wheel.
The Space Marines now have 6 fingers.
And Space Marines now have 6 fingers.
But they don't use AI.
No.
Mutations confirmed. So there's there's a real, I think, redirection. They've clearly realized that the community want their grim to be grim, their dark to be dark, and that 40K has fallen short of that in modern editions. But I'm not here to talk about 40k.
No.
I'm here to talk about Trench Crusade.
Sorry, that was my bad.
But this is where the grim and the dark is so deliciously succulent.
So let's talk about the grim and dark.
Can I go back just before we do? Not quoting you on numbers, but 20,170 backers. Australian dollars, they wanted 95,000, just over 95,000.
Who doesn't?
They ended on 4 3/4. Okay. 4,750,000.
That's big number.
Yeah, that is huge. That is a lot of grimdark.
That is several grims.
There's lots of grims with a fair bit of dark for change.
So,
thanks for the true numbers there, Brett. I was just spitting off the top of my head.
It's a lot, but I mean that's far off. Like you got to do the conversion into AUD. It's tough. So, what is the scene? Like, what makes it grim? What makes it dark? Where are we?
So, we'll take ourselves to an alternate timeline within our recent history that was quite grim and dark. So, we're talking about the trench warfare of the early 1900s, World War I sort of era, as we would not by our sort of universe calendar.
So we're talking sort of Hellboyish.
We're talking Hellboyish, very much so. So it's gas masks, it's
fixed bayonets and over the
bayonets over the trenches. It's barbed wire. It's mustard gas. It's all of those wonderful things that in and of themselves evoke a lot of awful, horrific sort of warfare scenarios, without adding a tiny little, just a little kernel, just a slight shift in what we would consider our universe history, where in Trench Crusade, the Knights Templar back in, was that 1066, I believe, they didn't stop crusading. And in fact, they made a big boo-boo and opened up a portal to hell in Jerusalem.
Okay.
And that then spurned on a constant wave of warfare that spanned from, over basically almost 1,000 years of time frame, not only between various nationalities at war, but also those who would align themselves with hell versus heaven, and that would also include terrible demonic entities and weird esoteric blessings or otherwise constructs that would be under the name of God, and so you get this whole Judeo-Christian spin on the classic World War I trench warfare, but now there are knights in the trenches and there are demons in the trenches, alongside the bayonets and the gas masks and the mustard gas and all of that wonderful stuff.
What a sliding doors moment!
World War I doom.
It's like, hey, you know how bad World War I was? Let's just make it even worse and turn it into a war game. And here we are.
Effectively, we've got the factions of hell, the demons, spewing out of the various portals, kicking around Jerusalem and thus, and everybody else trying to cram them back in their hole.
To a degree, yes. And you get those who, I guess, exist in hell-infested places that I guess they don't really have a choice but to fight on behalf, and certainly plenty of them get themselves in a headspace where they feel that is,
jump on the bandwagon.
Jump on that bandwagon. They convert. They become, the legions of hell themselves. And then you get those who find themselves, trying to claw back some kind of ownership of, of God's land, as they would call it, and they also go to some extreme lengths, some terrible things that they do to try and show their piety. I'll use that with inverted commas. You can't see them on the podcast, but I'm going to throw that shit in with some inverted commas, because there's no good guys in Trench Crusade.
That was my next point. I feel like it's easy to put the demons as the bad guys, but I feel like they didn't leave the grimdark out of the forces of quote unquote good.
No. So if it's not too early for me to do a cheeky bit of diving into something that's a bit faction specific, we're going to talk about the good guys being, not necessarily that good. One of the main, sort of the muscle that the forces of New Antioch and the Trench Pilgrims and so forth bring to the trenches, the good, what you call the God followers, they bring these things called the communicants, which are these hulking monstrosities of human flesh that can wield massive weapons and anti-tank rifles, and can basically be a huge sort of swing in the success or failure of the trench lines. They're created by consuming the flesh of a metachrist, and a metachrist is a clone of Jesus.
Okay.
And they somehow see this as being a holy offering, that they can make these hulking monstrosity mutants by consuming the meat of a Jesus clone, and that then makes them God followers. You can maybe read between the lines and see where that's a bit problem.
I do, and my next question, which I shouldn't say on a podcast, but it's too good not to, is how many times do you have to go to communion until you've had a full Jesus?
That's a good question, anyway. Because actually, no. Someone's crunched the numbers on this. I do know.
Fuck, I love nerds.
There is someone out there who is clearly a follower of Christian faith, and also on the spectrum, who has done and crunched the numbers on the communion wafers. How many wafers per Jesus? The numbers are out there. You can look them up. I don't have those numbers, much like I didn't have the Kickstarter numbers for.
I'm not looking that one up though.
I'll do it later, but anyway, we'll put it in the show notes.
It's probably more than a 12-pack. More than a 12-pack of communion wafers. I'll say that.
Oh shit!
But like this is the kind of good guy force that is fighting against hell. They've got these guys called observers, who have these massive helmets of, they're watchers. They've got like radars and bulbous goggles and things all on every side of these helmets, and they listen to the word of God, and they use it to guide their actions. Now, the fun thing about them, God isn't speaking to them; they are hijacking His calls.
They're just tapping his line.
They're tapping his line. This is another point where the good guys, inverted commas, good guys, are fighting on God's behalf, because they are listening to what He's saying, even if He's not actually talking to them. And so,
and He could be having a whole different conversation about
context is unimportant.
Fish or something. I don't know.
Yeah, what's God having for dinner? No one's asking that question. But the overarching sentiment is that the good guys of Trench Crusade are people who have been affected by visions and hysteria, and have been consuming cloned flesh of sort of abominations, and are tapping into God's bloody chat line, and they're the best people of the Trench Crusade universe. They're the goodest boys, and that's where we're at.
No. There is dogs somewhere. They're always good. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that there are dogs. It's fine.
Are the dogs eating the flesh of clone dog Jesus?
It depends.
That is the question.
It depends on the faction.
Of course. All right.
I happen to have a lovely collection of trench soldiers who follow the word of Beelzebub, and those doggos are well fed.
Excellent.
All right. So this gives us an idea of the world that we're entering here, and just how dark and grim the grimdark is. I suppose.
This is one of those environments where the age-old question of would you like to live in your favorite fictional universe? And
hard pass.
No.
Not this one. No, thank you.
And like sucks.
And like legitimately, it was one of those things when you're flicking through the models to see, what do I feel like playing? Because prettiness is always the key factor for me. It's like, which ones am I willing to have on the shelf around the kids that I'm not gonna have to live with the fallout of nightmares.
Oh yeah. So they're called the Black Grail. Is a warband that I recently painted up to take to ArcFest. I went to the Trench Crusade event at ArcFest recently, and the sculpts themselves horrific, very
beautiful,
viscerally just there's a lot going on, and it doesn't. A weak stomach cannot handle this sort of encounter, and then I also painted them in some very exceptionally bright, bruised, infected, and pustulant colors. And I knew I did a good job when my wife would say, "I can't look at these models. You've done a great job." No, I can't look at them because you've done a great job. That's the kind of aesthetic we're talking about for this game.
It's pretty good.
It's so good.
It's fun. So, if that's the world that we're living in, how does that translate then to a game? I suppose there's always the draw of the aesthetic. There is always the draw of the background and the environment and all of that kind of fun. But what's the gameplay like then?
That's a good question. So the lens, the zoom of focus is really on the warband scale. The idea is that the trenches have been fought over for hundreds of years, and they are well established, and there's constant artillery barrages, and it's gone from being like a one front versus another front kind of like structured warfare scenario to both sides are just kind of like they're pitching dudes into the trenches and just trying to maintain balance. And so you get to stumble into this beautiful situation as your own warband, where you may have a lieutenant or equivalent leading a group of ragtag, be it soldiers, be it cultists, be it worshippers, be it zombies, be it demons, and trying to claim your own stake within this blasted wasteland, and hopefully make a living out of salvaging what remains in these trenches. So many unknown treasures, lost treasures are scattered through these vast trench sort of environments. And so so you're talking about having a warband of potentially a dozen models.
All right.
That's the kind of numbers we're talking about. There are some warbands who function perfectly fine on only having a half dozen, particularly strong models, well armored, well equipped. But yeah, that's the kind of scale we're talking about, and we're talking about a battlefield that's typically either 3 foot square or 4 foot square.
Yep.
The mission design is flexible enough that it works off the center point of the board. So
use the space you got.
Use the space you got. That's exactly right. And yeah, that's sort of the amount of, I guess, sort of hobby translation you would need to make into engaging with this game.
Feels like a small investment model-wise, like that kind of 10 model. That's eminently doable.
Is a lovely level of model.
It's low-hanging fruit, and I think that I would certainly encourage anyone who does enjoy skirmish games, especially anyone who's got like a history with Mordheim, or even Necromunda, and wants to go for something that's a bit more sort of a horrific aesthetic. They can very easily step into it, and I mean the rule set has been designed by, we're talking about people from that same be the direct creators of previous game systems you enjoy, or have been sort of within earshot of other games that were created when they were working at the Games Workshop studios. So you're in good company if that's the kind of game you enjoy playing. Paint another 10 models up, just wash them in brown and go for it, man. Like the everyone's in the trench, they all look like shit. That's kind of what happens when you live a life in the trenches. You're all going to look like hot garbage. So just paint your models like that and have some fun.
That is kind of glorious.
So being that it is trench warfare, let's say, as far as at least lore-wise, does that mean that that's the sort of table you kind of play on, or is it a bit of everything? Like how much scenery are we looking at for a game of Trench Crusade generally?
That is a solid question, and it's one that it's been hot topic for us because we're preparing resources for upcoming events. Spoilers for later in the episode. The rules, the terrain rules are accommodating for some of your more conventional terrain sets where they've got, like your sort of, be it ruined walls, your sort of climbable, like ruined houses, that sort of stuff. You can even go forests and hills and cottages. We've had some interesting ideas around framing games, collections of games within a sort of narrative event, where we would actually have a collection of maps set up that would not be trenches and would otherwise be countryside, or would be ruined city, or would be something else that would also be sort of appropriate Central European, early 1900s era sort of aesthetic. You can do that, and the terrain rules will accommodate it. And you can. I honestly think it actually makes for a better game when you do have that variety of terrain. I think the game can accommodate it, and I think players, when they're building their warbands, should have to accommodate for it. You can't go and build an all sniper list or build an all close combat list. You need to allow for different battlefields to dictate what you bring to the table and have a mix.
From what I've seen, it does seem to be one of the games that benefits for, like, it's not a couple of hills and a forest and a wall here, there, and there. It is relatively dense, and it feels like line of sight blocking matters, elevation matters, like all of those things actually have really tangible impact in game, and not having enough skews the power balance pretty, or vice versa, having too much probably.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some sort of guidelines on how much or little you should place down. There's a lot of examples of boards that people have made that you can look up yourself for inspiration. It will, with any skirmish game, terrain placement will make a difference. I don't know of a skirmish game that relies on sparse terrain to be effective. I think we're going to see as with every other skirmish game, there needs to be density. That has to be part of what it is.
You need to be able to play in and around it. You need to be able to get sort of, and actually enjoy the variety that the battleground presents. I think is probably the piece. I suppose it's not infinity level silly, but if you're playing Mordheim or if you're playing another one of those kind of Necromunda or something, like, wouldn't be a bad level. I think, the other good call out here is that it's called Trench Crusade. That doesn't mean you need trenches. Like,
you don't need
got
trenches.
shit, you can probably use it.
Okay.
There's that's a misnomer.
You can just crusade without the trench. Okay.
Well, I think early into the game design, the team realized that you can't expect everyone to build a trench board. And so, yes, it is called Trench Crusade. Yes, it does involve trench warfare, and it's based around a period of time that had a lot of trench warfare. But there are plenty of battles that happened, 1914 to 1918 that weren't in a trench.
Yeah.
And they also played out, as they did. So, it's, I think that, it's just like, let's say you're going to do Dungeons and Dragons.
Only in dungeons.
You don't have to fight a dragon. It could be Dungeons and Goblins.
It could be and goblins.
It could be hills and goblins. Exactly.
Yeah. Ghosts and goblins. No, that's something else.
Also, you could be crusading to a trench, away from a trench. Like it could be trench adjacent.
It can be trench adjacent. Absolutely, we're all about inclusiveness in our battlefields. So
I think that's a good thing, and it's worth pointing out, because you see, when you think Trench Crusade, and if you've done any sort of research into this, you've probably seen some of these amazing trench boards that people have made. But as far as a game goes, you can't alienate people that just want to play and give it a go, and have X amount of other games that they're playing at the same time. And don't have the time to dedicate to putting a Star Wars Shatterpoint game in a trench.
Yeah, and I would say the trench concept helps game-wise with this idea of not everybody can see everybody, so not everyone can shoot everybody all the time, but there are so many ways to address that problem.
Yeah, very true. And so my earliest games of Trench Crusade, because I'm gonna throw a big confession out on the pod tonight. I have not built my trench table yet. I know.
All right, we better stop recording.
We are done. You've got a poser in your ranks.
Do we know someone that actually knows what they're talking about?
Next, you'll be saying you have never been on a crusade.
Oh, I hate to break it to you, brother.
I'm sorry. If you haven't committed genocide, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it turns out some of us who are very genocidal in nature actually really enjoy the fantasy aspect of the fact that happened once and it shouldn't happen again. But on that note, my early games of Trench Crusade, like just kind of playing out the rules, playing out the campaign and so forth, were all done with L-shaped ruins from 40k. And the games went beautifully. And I was playing as trench pilgrims. So for those who don't understand the distinction between the factions, the trench pilgrims are one of the most melee-focused factions in the game at this point in time. It's kind of like Sisters of Battles without bolt guns. They are just running at you and hitting you with clubs.
Because
and telling you
pilgrims in trenches.
Because you haven't read their book yet. It's great.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. Great faction. But I was able to play them successfully within L-shaped ruined terrain, keeping it well packed, but otherwise plays perfectly fine. So, and this was up against naval raiders with submachine guns.
Okay.
So you do not need trenches.
Yeah.
Get yourself some ruins.
Yep.
And just don't stand in front of a submachine gun. I can tell you that from experience.
Good advice. Just generally.
Advice.
We're still talking about the game.
In game, also do not stand in front of a submachine gun in game.
I think
as well.
From this, that brings up another question. In that, how many factions are there? Like, you've mentioned a couple already. So is there a good variety? How many different crusades are going on in these trenches?
There's a good assortment of factions available at the moment, and I want to, I guess, kind of before I go into the breakdown, because I think it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a breakdown. I want to make a bit of a precursor to that. In the a lot of these can be used as templates to build your own faction out of. You can just use an existing faction's rules and say, I'm doing a blah. So I'm going to give you an example. I have a great desire to build an army based on the Emu War.
Okay. Yep.
That happened late in World War One.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to either use the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent or the Black Grail Demon rules. They're the two demon factions to represent demonic emus.
I mean, is there any other kind?
To represent emus. Yeah. So this is a bit of an extreme example, but not an unusual example of you can take existing warband rule structure and build your own something out of it. There's no one stopping you from doing that.
No. The other thing that's juicy, sorry, I'm going to dive in and just go, is that, yes, there are the main factions, but there are also a number of sub-factions within a few of them as well. So there's this world of, like, I can play the Iron Sultanate, vanilla, that's the faction, or I can play the House of Wisdom sub-faction, which unlocks new models and restricts some others and all this kind of jazz. So there is a world of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 or so main factions at the moment. But out of that, there's probably, close to 20 all up when you start adding in all the sub factions and stuff.
That was going to be my second point, is that a lot of the factions have a way that you can build them with the same, sort of stat lines, whatever, but in a different combination or with different advantages, whatever. So I was talking about the Naval Raiders earlier. So that is a sub-faction of the Heretic Legion. So Heretic Legion is your mortals who follow the denizens of hell. They work on their behalf, and they're very sort of conflict, gas masky, glowing red, sort of goggle eye, trench coaty, big helmet sort of dudes. And there's a sub-faction in there, which is the Marine dudes, who they lose a lot of the specialist, the esoteric stuff that comes from Hell's Portals, but all the generic dudes can be equipped with submachine guns, and they also get bonuses when they're making rolls to do their run moves. They're really kind of swift special ops sort of naval, heretic kind of guys. And every sort of faction has these little kind of splintery ones. So, like, for example, Jason was talking about the specialist ones for the
Iron Sultanate.
Thank you. And they end up being alchemists with their homunculi, and they augment them through their own biochemical experiments to make them into these hulking monstrosities of their own flavor. Some of them fly, some of them are massive and can fire flame cannons. Some of them have really big brain energy, and they can do things with the 4 arms they've been equipped with. and that's like an alternate list for the Iron Sultanate. And I think that's one of the fun things about and they'll continue bringing out new flavors. And so what we're seeing right now is just kind of like early days, and we're already seeing so much creativity and so much variety coming from even just the very basic early sort of factions that have been thrown into these proverbial trenches.
All right, so that makes sense. I mean, I understand that you're new here, Adam, but when you said, going on what Jay said, nobody ever listens to what Jay says anyway. So there's your mistake there. But what I'm hearing is that bringing this back to per se something we're very familiar with, say Blood Bowl, right? What you're saying is that I can take, say, a Skaven team and say, this is my Emu team, or vice versa, right? Yeah. Emus, this is my Skaven team. So it's got that sort of, not locking you into the model type.
And they were really clear from the outset that they were super keen on people using it as a springboard for hobby and converting and building and doing all of that stuff. And yes, they released a bunch of 3D kind of printable models at the start as part of the Kickstarter. They've now started looking at plastic kits that you can buy for some of the new stuff as well. But they were huge advocates for people converting and kit bashing and scratch building and all of that jazz as part of it, to really lean into the hobby aspect of it as well, and encouraging people to use their own imagination and their own creativity to build their own things.
Very much so.
To bring out like a brand new game, and you're competing with, you're not really competing with 40K. It's a skirmish game, so it's a different sort of demographic that you're targeting. But to come out with a game that is wildly successful on Kickstarter and say, here are the 3D print models, the files, go nuts. That is huge for a company. This is the sort of thing that companies fall back on if they get themselves into trouble, or stuff like Night Models have done it with Batman, for example. But to go straight out the gate and say, here are the 3D prints, use them if you like them. If you don't, use your own.
Do something else.
That's cool.
Don't give us money. It's fine.
It was a really I think it was a bold move, but it was a well-educated move with the industry as it is today. And
read the room.
Read the fucking room, boys. I was just earlier this week, just quick aside, sort of re-exploring the world of War Machine, a game from Privity Press that, or it's now from
Steamforged.
Steamforged, thank you. A game that I still have a lot of love and appreciation for. In there, they've got a business model where they don't supply STLs for the current models. They've got them for like vintage models, but the current models they will sell them to you as 3D printed product through their own internal 3D printing sort of islands they've got around the world, which was yet again, they kind of jumped into this arena earlier, and they've done their model in their way. And does it work or not? I'm not going to, I think
it's a choice.
The market can make that, apparent for me one way or the other. But the way that Trench Crusade kind of stepped into it, and the first thing they said was, hey, look, we're making these STLs, you can buy the files, use them, go nuts with it, but we really want you to just build your own dudes,
do your own shit,
Perry Twins, Crusader Knights, bloody plastic kits, and World War I soldier kits, and mash them together and make your own trench crusading dudes. That was the dream. Or bust into some of the weirdest, most wonderful sort of demonic stuff that you can get from like
just
Bestiarium,
find yourself, Bestiarium Games subscription, and off you go.
And I think that's a very healthy approach to the hobby, because it's going to make people want to play the game. And there's people like myself who are like, I don't really need to get the official Sniper Priest model, but I'm going to do it because it's a way for me to kind of like, give back to the game, because I know that they are here to take care of me, not to make a coin.
But if you've got a cool idea, you've got emus on the brain.
I have emus on the brain. Oh boy.
Now we all do.
That's true. Truth.
So I think we've gone, conceptually game-wise, how big they are, how many models, this kind of stuff. Can we dive a little bit into actual core mechanics? Like, are we talking activation for activation? Are we talking I go, you go? Are we talking things? Are we talking like, are we using dice?
How many dice?
Oh, there will be dice. So it is an I go, you go.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Sort of process with model activation.
So it's alternate activations.
But
cool.
The core mechanic is, I'm gonna push you guys. This is a bit of big question time. Can you add the pips on 2 dice together?
Fuck. And you're using dice with actual like dots on them. You're not just using special symbols that have skulls and explodey things and arrows.
It's right. The dots on a face.
I can't use dice with dots. I need the number written on each side.
Oh, you're a digital clock boy, aren't you?
Can I use a calculator?
No.
Anyway, we're rolling dice.
We're rolling dice. So
are we rolling 2 dice?
The big thing for Trench Crusade is you roll 2 dice, and the magic number is 7.
Yep.
Now, if you happen to roll box cars, which is double 6, which is 12, that's called a critical hit. But normally it's just, we're looking for 7s, all right? We're looking for 7s on 2 dice. Now, that at face value seems a little bit sort of one-dimensional, seems a little bit...
Roll 2 dice, get average or above. Happy days.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Where it gets really interesting is that depending on your model's skill and depending on the circumstances, how wounded they might be, how much cover the opponent has, how far away they are. There's a number of extenuating circumstances. You add or subtract dice to your pool.
Okay.
So for those playing at home that also play Blood Bowl, you have negatives and positives. So you have defensive assists effectively. So I might be shooting at a guy, but he's a long way away in cover, and so actually I'm rolling 4 dice, needing a 7, but taking the 2 worst.
That's exactly right. So once
I roll D20s?
No.
No.
You're rolling D6s. You're looking for 7s, but you're playing that. Am I throwing dice uphill or downhill?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that's very much how it works. So if you let's say you have +1 dice to your skill. So you would roll a 2 +1. You'd normally roll 3 dice and pick the 2 highest.
Mm-hmm.
But then they are at long range, so you're -1.
We're back to 2 dice.
You would go back to just 2 dice. And then they've got another -1 for being in cover. You would actually add a dice to your pool.
But take the worst 2.
The worst 2.
So you're not looking for a 7 on a 1 die roll.
No. So you're always rolling.
Yeah.
It's always on the 2 dice, but you're always looking at the 2 best dice or the 2 worst dice, depending on whether you are collectively in the positive or the negative space.
Is there a maximum to this?
No.
So you could be forced to roll 20 dice and choose the 2 worst. And still roll 6s.
I don't know how you could possibly find yourself in a situation where you're at -20, but theoretically, let's say you roll 20 dice, you find the 2 lowest ones. Let's say all 20 dice are 6s. Your lowest 2 dice are both 6s, you get a 12.
Yeah. So, excellent. So no matter how bad things are, there is still a chance.
Correct. And no matter how good things are, there's still a chance you'll fail.
Yeah. The other fun bit when we start talking about positives and negatives is this concept of blood markers.
That's where it gets really fun. So with so as the game progresses and you will start inflicting damage on your opponents and they inflict damage on you, it doesn't initially, in all cases, kill them. It may just knock them down. It may not knock them out at all, but in many cases, it will add blood markers to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the really fun mechanics of Trench Crusade is that as an opponent, you get to spend the blood markers on your opponent's models.
So the way this plays out is you're shooting at me, but you've already been wounded. You've got a couple of blood markers sitting there. And before you roll dice, I say, I'm going to spend one of your blood dice to add another negative to your... And so it ends up being one of those resources that you spend, your opponent has, and you spend it to make them worse.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right. And is there a limit on how many blood markers a model can have? Does it depend on the model itself, or is it?
No. A model can have, I think it caps at 6.
Okay.
I'll double check the rules for that, but yes, I know at 6 big things happen. You can go into a bloodbath roll. You spend all the blood markers, and you get extra dice that all add together. It gets messy, but at surface level, the idea of blood markers is that it gives you an indication of how traumatized or injured or stressed out or otherwise your models are.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives your opponent a mechanism where they can make your guys screw up, trip over, make mistakes because of the fact that they are injured and they're not in their right headspace. In saying that, you can also use blood markers to increase the number of dice that you use for the injury roll.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what happens after you make an attack roll. You'll make an injury roll.
Mm-hmm.
And so whereas attack roll is typically a 7, you're looking at 7s for success or failure. With the injury roll, you're looking for 9s.
Okay, so it's still not overly difficult.
It's not overly difficult.
Depending on how many dice you're rolling, I suppose.
Yeah, so where it gets tricky is that like lower results also give, like I think like a 5 gives a blood marker, a 7 is a knocked down and a blood marker, and a 9 is dead.
Okay.
So in addition to adding and subtracting dice, you also get modifiers to the dice roll from things like armor.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a model with the reinforced armor, which is -2 to the dice roll.
So you're really looking for an 11 on that case.
Yeah, so unless you've got extra dice to add to your pool, you're going to be rolling on 2 dice and trying to get an 11 to kill that model.
So it's gone from a beastman to a treeman. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
And so so the tactics really come down to a bit of resource management.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to stack blood markers where you can make them useful, and then you're trying to, I guess, apply a Hail Mary where you can then spend all those blood markers to get a big injury roll and let the dice decide if you kill that model or not.
Yeah, but you might be using models just to splash blood markers onto things, so then you can use them later to sort of coup de grace or to do something cool later. So it is one of those resources that you want to try and manage as well. It's like, well, how am I going to use these? How am I going to get the best effect out of these? And how can I screw up my opponent's big plays by using his blood markers against him? The other fun bit that comes out of this is what they call risky actions.
Yes.
So some weapons will be risky by default, and with a risky action, it means that if you fail the dice roll, your little activation just ends. You're done. Okay. And where that could be really dangerous is you might want to shoot and then run into cover. But that shoot is a risky action because of the special gun that you've got. You fail that and you are just hanging out with your balls in the wind. You don't get to then run back into cover for that second one. That doubles down when you start talking about blood markers, because if I've got some blood markers and then I'm trying to shoot with my risky action, my opponent may then choose to use those. Good chance that it fails, and then they can pounce on this model. The other one that's a risky action for everybody is a dash. So it can get you an extra movement.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So it is one of those things you can move. That's fine. If you want to move again, you can dash. You need to roll the 7 to get it off, and then you can move. But it's a risky action, and so there's a real piece here about I'm trying to get to that cover over there, and I need to move moves to get there. So which one do I use first? Do I use the risky one first, which might mean I never move, but I'm safe in cover if it fails? Or do I move into the open and then dash, but if it fails, I'm hanging out in the open again? That kind of fun plays out.
It's pretty wild. And on a similar note, if you wanted to charge the enemy and fight them in close combat, and you wanted to use a dash as part of that, like real kind of race up the board, like Horn Berserker, Hormagaunt style, you need to do the dash action first because you can't charge on a dash. So you have to dash then charge.
And so if you're really planning a big punch on and you fail that dash first up, you miss that whole opportunity, and then they can react to it.
Or you find yourself left back in your own back lines, not doing anything because you had a blood marker and they go, I'm going to make you spend that on your dash, and then you're trying to roll a 7 on uphill. 3 dice, take the 2 lowest. It's there's an interesting
stuck in a spot yelling at yourself.
Yeah, cool. There's some really interesting sort of risk taking and resource spending economy that comes with what is otherwise a really simple dice based system, and that's one of the things that I find really appealing about it.
So what the fuck are we talking about? No, I think we'd actually started to do a little bit of a segue, which is lovely, as to that's how the game plays. I go, you go, roll a 7, negative, positive dice, blood markers, risky actions. That's kind of the juicy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So why the fuck play this game over any other game that's out there is the $1 million question.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Crusades.
Because Crusades. No, I think the game mechanics are solid. I think that there is an underlying strategy in what is otherwise a very simple dice-based system to learn, which makes it very easy to pick up. So love that. Also, low model count, easy to pick up. We're ticking a lot of boxes here. I think where it's most enjoyable is when you start to get into the campaign system. Beyond all the aesthetics, because they dragged me in very quickly, all the sort of the creativity, the agnostic model selection, the low-hanging fruit with warband size, low-hanging fruit with the game mechanics to get out the gates. I got myself ready nice and quick and early, and I just started, hanging out with my local gaming friends, and we were running the campaign from very early on, and that then became my favorite part of the game. Was actually what was happening between games. And how my my fledgling warband was growing and evolving and gaining glory, and how that was impacting the composition of my army from game to game.
So what's the geo with the campaign? Is that a sort of an injuries and skills kind of deals, aka some of the other, or is it?
Very much so. So this is where we really have to, I guess, look at Tomas's prior work as, his inspiration for what is his current work. And he's done, countless things when it comes to Mordheim campaigns and so forth. One of the things
that really does this mean that your characters can lose limbs between missions?
Oh, very much so.
Oh, excellent! All right,
they can be haunted by trench ghosts.
Oh well, aren't we all?
I mean, yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was that was going to happen. They can develop psychoses. They can be captured as prisoners of war, and then you have to barter with your opponent to get them back.
Can they find the Holy Grail?
They can discover relics.
Is it the Holy Grail, or is no?
They've already got one. They've already got one.
No, that's the last crusade.
Every trench pilgrim will tell you that they already have it.
Yes.
That's where we're at, man. Like you want some solidarity in this fluff, you ain't gonna get it, because every pilgrim has got the Holy Grail.
Only the penitent man may pass.
Exactly. So the really cool thing about the campaign system, I think, has to be stated first and foremost, is that no players left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know that has been a legacy issue for a lot of the classic campaign systems, where you do well round one, you get ahead. You do better round two, you get more ahead. You do incredibly well round three, and no one else can catch up because it rewards success. The way that the campaign system is done in Trench Crusade is that you can either choose to go back to base and replenish your casualties, because at the end of any game, you have to roll dice for every model that has been removed from the table. And on a 3+, they die. Sorry, 1 to 2, they die.
Okay.
3+, they live. For your characters, they have a more complicated table, but beside the point, good chance you're going to actually have models, especially grunts, die each time you go into the trenches. You can choose to go back to base, replenish your forces, and that means that you look at how much your existing army is worth in ducats, in basically their point system. What is the points cap for the next level, next round of the campaign, and you top up to that level. So it might mean that what you lost, you gain back plus an extra $100 worth of dudes. But they don't have any veteran skills. They're all
they're brand new off the showroom floor.
Yeah,
new recruits, but
they're all green behind the ears, right? But they are meeting the points requirement of the game. Conversely, maybe you decide that, okay, I lost 1 or 2 guys, but it's not that bad. I'm going to go and venture into the trenches and see how much money I can find to hire more guys, and hopefully stumble across some relics while I'm there.
Yeah, so we can go searching for treasure effectively, and
so then you gamble. And my experience is that the gamble generally doesn't get you as much dollars worth as going back home, but you uncover little freebies and extra bits and pieces that you can add to your warband instead. And so it self-balances to a degree.
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfectly balanced. I don't think any campaign system will be, but
it's not supposed to be. This idea that forces should always be exactly equal is incorrect anyway. I like there's a joy here in partially in having slightly asynchronous games.
Yes.
But equally, this idea that I could go back and get a bunch of new recruits and just flashlight people to death with my muskets, because with just weight of numbers, or at least I'm not, that far behind the 8 ball that it's not a winnable game.
That's it. Time. And you don't lose the veteran skills on the survivors; they keep those.
Yeah, we just top up.
You top up, yeah. And so then end of every round of a campaign, you kind of have a serious decision to make. Are you just going to go and reliable top up, or are you going to unreliable roll the dice and see what you can get from the trenches? And that is, I think, a really kind of cool way to that really captured my interest as far as the campaign is concerned. And it comes with all of, as you said, like you get all your injuries, but you also get your veteran skills. Your elite characters level up. Your grunts can become promoted to elite.
We're talking Mordheim, and I'm on board.
It's all of that. I actually I want to speak personally on something that comes with the Trench Pilgrims. So my first warband. These are the kind of guys who wake up with a vision from God to say you need to go into the trenches and kill heretics, and they grab Grandpappy's bloody bolt action rifle, put on a capriote helmet, and just walk into the trenches without shoes on. And they join some wandering band of psychopaths, and they all go in there together and try and kill the heretics, right?
And this is their vision; they're not tuning into somebody else's vision.
No. This is just as far, in their opinion, that it's a voice from God. But I mean, there's way too much esotericism within the Trench Crusade multi whatever. It's we'll keep it simple. They have had a vision, and they need to go and fight the heretics, and so they go out there barefoot and they just kicking ass.
They bring the band back together.
Yeah. Now, if I have a Trench Pilgrim die in my campaign,
plausible,
I can hire them back the next game as a martyr, an honoured martyr, because they've died and they have 3 days in the cave and risen back up by holy.
Yep.
And so then they come back as an elite troop for my penitents.
So are you actually actively trying to get these bastards killed so they can come back cooler?
Well, this is the
like zombie Jesus this shit up.
The thing is, I can't actually get the elite infantry for Trench Pilgrims until they've died first,
right,
and come back, and I use them in the following campaign turn as their elite self. They actually get skill buffs and so forth. I want to give a quick shout out to my girl Punto. She's the one who had the strong keyword and was given a punt gun. For anyone on the potty who doesn't know what a punt gun is, please Google it. It is a man-portable, in inverted commas, shotgun, requires 2 people to carry.
Okay.
It's large.
She was rocking one of those things on her own because the strong keyword.
Just lets her ignore the size, yeah.
Just the shotgun is 8 foot long.
It's great.
It is obscene. They actually have rules for it where you need to be in base contact with another Trench Pilgrim.
So we can help you.
So they can rest the shotgun on their shoulder while you fire it.
It's the timber rule for a tree man, but in reverse.
Gotcha.
It's so flavorful and just ridiculous that they have what a ridiculous gun to give to, like, it's a peasant weapon. It's used to shoot like fowl and migratory birds, and they've equipped it for war, but they need another person to put it on their shoulders so they can fire it and hope the person doesn't lose their hearing. It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, shout out to Punto. She died, came back a martyr, and now she fires her punt gun even better than she did before, and it's face destroying. It is the most devastating shotgun you can get in the game, and I love it.
And again, this is punt with a P.
Punt with a P.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, no, do not. Yes, please use.
Spell it correctly, guys. Yeah. Typos are not appreciated in this tutorial.
Typos will not do you well.
That's a totally different Google search.
There's much less shotguns in that search result.
Surprisingly, not. Anyway, so I am sold. That last search has really got me sold. I want to play Trench Crusade. What the fuck do I have to buy?
Okay, that's a hot question.
Dice.
It seems like a thing.
Have you got 600 dice?
Yep.
Have you got a measuring tape with inches on it?
All right, we're in inches. That's a good piece, but yes.
Okay, then you have everything you need to play Trench Crusade.
Everything.
The models. You're agnostic. Put down some Imperial Guardsmen if you want. Like, no one cares, man. Like, people just put down whatever. As long as you can, reasonably represent it on the table, go for it. Use third party. Kit bash to your heart's content. If you want to go for the STLs, you can purchase those files. They are available.
If you want
there are now official suppliers of the 3D prints in Australia. Pluto Minis will be officially supplying the STLs. There are also the plastic kits that have been brought out. So the Prussians were the first ones that were brought out from Trench Crusade. There'll be more coming out eventually, but as I said, just get creative. Models are models. Like, just make it your own. Like, what is the most disgusting, horrible, awful existence you can think of? Put it in the French, put it in the 1900s, and there you go.
Cool.
Kit bash that. Rules are free. You can download them online. There's a really nice online war builder app called Trench Companion. You can use that to build your warband.
It's good. It also manages campaigns and all that kind of fun, just FYIs.
That's it. You can export your into text format, all that sort of wonderful thing. There's like all the resources are free. Everything apart from how you choose to make your model. You want to go premium, you want to use the official STLs, get them 3D printed. You can do that. You don't have to. I think Tomas just wants you to play the game.
Yeah,
wants you to enjoy it. I think that's the sentiment of the hobby. Just get in the trenches, man. Just get in there.
So realistically, I've got dice, I've got tape measure, I've got some terrain from a game I used to play. I can probably proxy do something. If I want to get creative and make some, bust out the popsicle sticks and foam, I can go silly.
Hell yeah.
There is other stuff available if you want to get silly and buy premium or print. Get yourself 10 odd models, somewhere between 10 to 15 models, and off you go. Make them pretty. Download some rules and rock and roll.
Highly recommend just if any of this conversation has tickled proverbial pickle, go and download the army rules. Like, there's the faction rules is a great, I think, primer to inspire you as to the kind of weird and wonderful monstrosities that are on the battlefield. Obviously, get the core rules so you know what all those numbers mean. Because they'll have numbers in their stat block that will be like, oh, what's a rat, or whatever. It's all in the it's all in the rules. But most importantly, find a collection of models that speak to you, or like an aesthetic that speaks to you, and just make it your own and make it as messed up as you possibly can, because
we know our audience. That's
everyone who plays this game, they want it to be the most ridiculous version that it can be.
I will say too, if Trench Companion's a good shout, because the other thing that has is a real background on the lore.
Yes.
And a faction like quick lore breakdown, and it shows you all the models available for each faction, the official models, what they look like. If you're looking for inspiration, if you're looking for what this faction's about, or vaguely what it, why it exists, or what kind of models might suit, like you can just flick through the website and it gives you all of that off the bat as well. So it's a nice little easy way just to scroll through and go, oh, I like that. Oh, they sound cool. All those models are creepy. I'll find something else. Any of those options.
Very, very true. Very true.
So, given that our audience is non-existent, but if there was someone going to be listening, there's a good chance they're going to be local to Geelong. Where the fuck can they get involved?
The whole topic, because it is down at the baseball centre where we have been doing so many wonderful things. So there is currently a slow grow campaign that is starting. It's going to be the week after next, I believe.
Sounds about right.
And this is sort of run at the Geelong Gamers Association.
Yeah, Saints Baseball Club, Tuesday nights. And it is very much, or everyone involved basically is new. Yeah. Or there to show people how to play the game and introduce them. It's
being played on the regular at the Saints Baseball Club. So even if you could just rock in spontaneously and watch some people play Trench Crusade.
It's been literally hanging out to play, give people demo games every Tuesday. It's like, just tell me and I'm there and I will just show you how to play and see if you're keen. That's been going on for the last few weeks, with this idea that people could try a game out, see if they like it, get an idea for it, sign up to a campaign with a bunch of people who also don't know what they're doing, and we'll all help each other pick it up as we go along and just kind of learn it out. So
that's exactly right. So yeah, so Ed's it's been a huge champion in running that. Yet again, you want to come in. We provide models. You can get a chance to see how the dice mechanics work and all that sort of stuff. It's being very it's healthily supported. We've got local players who are excited to get other people excited to increase the local the community, so then we can have events, and that's the next step, which is what we're doing in. Excuse me.
I will not.
You will not. Delete from my everything. Why do you do this to me?
When we say event, so we're talking not necessarily tournament, but a time-based occasion with a series of games.
It's a time over the weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where players experienced and otherwise can enjoy the game over some, narrative rounds where you will start with your basic warband, and then every game you will have your casualties and your injuries and your experiences and whatnot, and then you'll take that to your next game, and you'll do that over the course of 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to happen over the 8th and 9th of August.
Mm-hmm.
And as a suitably Beer Hammer inspired event, it's called Trench Crusade.
Love it. Punny names.
Because you got to have a brew while you're in the trenches.
You shoot a demon and take a drink. That's how this works.
Well, if you are a demon, you're just constantly drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Whereabouts is said event?
It's at the same baseball club.
Ah, perfect.
We're keeping it simple, boys. It is down in Wamponds, and it's where people can sharpen their teeth. They can get a feel for the game, and that's about having a collection of models large enough to be able to get to the other end of the weekend, which is about 1,100 ducats. So you start,
which is kind of your upper end. That's kind of your upper end of
it's
how
your
good
upper
games
end. Yeah. So you're talking sort of, closer to 15, 20 models.
Okay.
At that ceiling. It depends on the faction you're running and how heavily you equipped you guys. You could be running you Antioch and run 5 dudes in super heavy armor, all with machine guns, and just be an absolute menace to society and have enough models for the end of the crusade. That would also work.
Groovy.
But yeah, the idea is that it gives people a chance to play games, meet new friends, and get the enjoyment of the experience of evolving their warband over a round or weekend of rounds.
Yeah. But it also
to the other end where they come out battered and bruised, but ultimately successful in their own way.
But your time commitment there is one weekend as well. So it's like, I can't play every other week for a campaign, but you know what I can get off is that weekend. Glorious. Sign me up. You get the same experience. It's also that piece around, I'm going to play this campaign and slowly grow the shit I'm painting and playing and stuff. So it's ready for then. There's a key way to do it. But it means that, you might also play a campaign and your favorite little friend dies and doesn't get to come back as a martyr. You can just rinse and repeat and start again, really easily as well. Glorious. So it seems to be kicking off. There seems to be a lot of people interested. It seems to be a lot of games going on. There is a significant amount of hype. There are demo games going on every Tuesday night at Saints at the moment.
I sat there and watched one this week, actually, just being played. I have a lot more of an idea now than I did when I was watching it, but it was still cool to watch, and I was watching all these risky rolls and
the gambles that we talked about the game mechanics, and it's hard to translate how the risk reward and the application of pressure, the use of blood markers, and the gamble that comes with those big plays. You really need to see a game in action to properly appreciate how that all adds up. Because yet again, simple rule system, but there's a lot of charm and nuance to it, where if you really kind of knuckle down, you can make your opponent's game an absolute nightmare, and you can elevate yourself to glorious heights if you know how to play the game. It's very, very nice system.
And it is that piece that the game is deep, the core mechanics are simple and streamlined. I think we were talking before about the strong keyword, but this idea about keywords throughout is models don't have their own funky special rules. They have keywords, and the keywords mean the fucking same for everything, and it's the best. Because if I know what strong does, great. If I know what tough does, great. If I know any of those things, it's
so. As a classic example, if you get shot by a gas weapon, which in 1914 trenches, that's a
bad news
issue. After everything's said and done, you just gain a blood marker just for having suffered through the suffocation of the gas weapon. But if you have a gas mask, you negate the gas keyword. And there's
Makes
a lot
sense.
there's demons negate fire.
Makes sense.
The capriot negates fear, because it turns out when you wear a big fucking traffic cone on your head, you don't care who you're fighting.
Oh, they're those big pointy helmet things.
Big pointy helmets. Right. Yeah.
They have a name. Who would have thought? Yeah.
That's it. I mean, last time I wore a traffic cone on my head, I felt invincible, so it checks out.
That had nothing to do with the Bacardi beforehand.
The crusades.
So, I know I was excited anyway. Like, it's one of those things. You looked at the models, you looked at the hype around the game, you looked at, and I am an easy target for this kind of shit. So it's fun.
I have a crew pretty much ready to go.
I really want to know where you guys steer with regards to your own faction.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got one in mind, or have you got one on the go? Where are you guys at with Trench Crusade?
I need to get myself a couple of bases so I can finish putting my models on bases, and then I need to paint them. So I am pretty much at that point.
Which faction have we?
We are black grailing.
Yeah. Welcome to the fold, brother.
Oh, look, they're disgusting looking things, and I just, I looked at them and I thought, you are my disgusting looking things.
Wasn't that a My Chemical Romance song? Welcome to the Black Grail? No.
No. That's Welcome to the Black Trench Crusade.
It's so cool. Whereas I immediately did I want models that I can have at home without causing nightmares, but also look cool. And so I went and grabbed myself the Iron Sultanate.
Very nice.
Just straight up the vanilla ones. I haven't gone silly into the House of Wisdom or Assassin Cabal or anything yet, but they are sitting mostly painted now. I need to actually paint bases, so for me they're done. But I got distracted by other projects before I finished those. But they have been glorious to get paint on, I will say. Leaning heavily into, I was trying to find the balance, and this will be topical in a second, between my default style of painting and trying to make them trenchy, and trying to find, like, I was trying to go, how do I do grimdark neon?
Oh no, it is possible.
It's doable. I'm here.
It's so doable. Yeah. I want to take a quick aside. You talked about the Assassin Cabal. There's no official model for the whirling dervishes, but that just feels like a hobby and painting project that would be, like, in itself, like just to find some beautifully twirling models, or I don't know how you would. I couldn't even sculpt that myself, but just to find a gloriously twirling and just strap knives to that skirt and make that and give it a gas mask. Yeah, that would be that'd be goated. And to run them alongside assassins would be so sick.
I genuinely looked at the assassins because they look cool as fuck, and then I saw how many rules they had and went, nah, that's a problem for later.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, go Kiss for now, and you can then go for the curly rules later.
Yeah.
I found the basic rules that both of my factions I run, which is the Pilgrims and the Black Grail. I run vanilla, and they've been very engaging, and I'm getting all the love I need from them without having to complicate it further.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt. Start simple. I can definitely recommend that.
Right.
Excellent.
That feels like Trench Crusade in a nutshell.
It does. It does. So where do we go from here, Jace?
I think we go to
Lovely. What a segue.
And I think we've already segued, which is even better. But
so, hit me with it.
And Adam, I'm going to throw back to you for this one. This is the discussion we had earlier around what are our choices.
Give it to me, mate.
So, given we've been talking about the world of Grimdark, and given things that have happened in the community of recent, you could go, if you had the choice, you could go Blanchitsu style or super bright. Which one are we going to go? So for those playing at home, your Blanchitsu style traditionally comes from that John Blanche artwork. It is gritty, it is grimdark, it is washes and pigments and oils and all of those things.
And also timely with the passing of Mr. Blanche.
What an absolute loss.
Oh, yeah.
But has spawned an entire style of art, which is both drawn at 2D and 3D, and worlds of tutorials and communities that are really dedicated to them. Alternatively, though, let me talk to you about just painting shit real bright.
That's a big whole deep dive there. That's Mariana Trench level deep dive. I want to obviously as we should all, big homage to the master of grimdark himself, John Blanche. It was shame to have him leave this mortal coil when he did, but geez, the legacy he left behind, we are all so much richer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that there's a single tabletop war gamer out there today that can't give some credit to him for what he's done for us.
There is no degrees of separation to literally everybody playing games now.
Big, just big fucking cred to our late and great John Blanche. But
the grimmest of grimdark.
Yes, I will say this is killing the whimsy of my art segment, but anyway.
Welcome to Trench Crusade, where everything is grim and dark, just like John Blanche's artistic portfolio. The guy was, let's be completely honest, he made the foundation that then created the pit that is Trench Crusade.
It's wild. It is, wild. And it is.
And on that note, quick throw out to On Guard, which is a thing. A 1v1 skirmish fencing game that he was involved in. Now
literally up until not that long ago, he was the head sort of art director for that.
The boy gamed till the very end, and that's
drawing.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, models on Kickstarter at the moment, I think.
Yeah, and the project is still live, and
they are completing that game, and it's going to be a legacy.
They will complete. It's going to be amazing, and I know because Tomas, who obviously birthed Trench Crusade, is active in that too. So I'm across it. It is going to be amazing. Be across that too. Be across Trench Crusade is also a homage to John. And I'm steering so far away from the question.
Make a goddamn choice.
But it's not a choice.
It's a choice.
It is a choice. It is this or that.
I love to build a palette of grimdark and then destroy it with brightness.
Okay.
And it completely breaks the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're sitting firmly on that fence.
I'll admit, this, my butt cheeks have splinters from riding this fence. It's like I'm like a butt cheek monorail on this picket fence of mine.
I mean, my assumption is that if you're destroying grimdark with bright, then you are Team Bright.
I think that any grimdark aesthetic without a focal point becomes a lost background object. It falls into the terrain. We're talking about tabletop presence. It falls into the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
It loses its ability to be present in your, as a gaming piece in your consciousness. It falls out of that place because it leaves itself in the muddiness. It doesn't have clean edges. It doesn't allow itself to be easily recognized. It is basically wearing camouflage. It's grimdark camouflage.
Well, it depends on what your terrain is. Like if you had, a grimdark, muddy.
If we're crusading through Oz, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. You could have a bright neon, future cyberpunk futuristic.
Yeah, if we're fighting over the Care Bear Stair, different story. But fuck me.
So this is me, I guess, kind of perverting the question into my own terrible means. I honestly think that the best grimdark is one that uses accents and focal points and brightness to celebrate and to accentuate and to contrast the griminess of the rest of the piece.
I really hate it when I agree with people in this segment.
Yeah,
but fundamentally, my issue with grimdark as a style is the lack of, it ends up all being grimdark, and therefore it's all just a brown, black, grimy ass mess, and you can't see what the fuck is going on. It needs a level of contrast. It needs some difference in values in brightness and darkness. So you can't have grimdark if everything is black. You need something to see how black it is, which means I need a bright color. I can't go just shades and things without having some color to say, actually, it used to look like that, and this is how grimy the fuck it is now. And I think a vast majority of the stuff that I see that is grimdark is someone's painted a thing in some browns and some khakis, smashed an oil wash on it, and maybe some pigments, and all of a sudden I've got this brown, black, grimy ass mess.
Yeah.
And I can't see what it is. It doesn't grab attention. It doesn't hold attention. It might be realistic as fuck, but I am not here for realism. I'm here for things that look cool. And this is why I invariably steer generally towards the brighter end of the spectrum. Understand that everything needs contrast. Like, you also can't just paint a whole thing in fluoros and have it readable. That doesn't work either. But I think if I was going to pick something and I looked at my sort of, general world, I tend to lean into brighter colors, saturated colors, fluoro paints, all those kind of things. So that's probably where, if I had to pick a side, that's where I'd go. Trying to find a balance between them and trying to find ways to make things look gritty and readable, I find really tricky.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna go pretty much mostly on the side of bright for me, because I mean, even my Nurgle stuff has bright colors scattered through it, and through in a move that's going to surprise nobody that listens to this podcast or is a part of our Discord. Incidentally, join the Discord. Anything that I can add pink to, I will. So we're going bright.
Oh my God, I think we also have a consensus.
Yeah, that's never happened.
I want to throw one last little cheeky side note on this. So my my Black Grail, we're talking about like zombie rotting carcass, sort of.
They're the Nurgle of the trenches. Let's just
very,
say
very, very, very dead, very disgusting, like the perfect grimdark sort of palette applicator. You could brown and green them till your days are done, and then you she's apples. I went for a pale flesh tone, and then I applied very bright shades of crimson and purple and a jade green to sort of accent the different levels of infection and bruising and open wound. Still disgusting. Let's not not fucking we're not going to
keep it disgusting and bright. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
disgusting. Yeah,
you can't look at those models and not think disgusting.
but then I took those munchkins to Arkfest, and Thomas himself anointed me the best painted heretic warband at the event.
Awesome work. I mean, yeah, I expect no less from you.
Well, he looked at me and said, the application of color is incredible, and they jump out of the table at you. I'm like, that's not Blanchitsu. That is just That's just very in your face. Grimdark, I suppose. Grimbright.
I think it's a thing. Yeah. This is where I'm at. I want that's. There's got to be a balance, and I would
#Grimbright.
I would also argue that if you look at any of John Blanche's actual artwork, there is so much white in it. Yes. There is so much, yes, there's texture. Yes, there's grim. Yes, there's all of this grittiness, and the style itself lends itself, given it's this kind of frantic kind of sketchy. It's so good. It is iconic, but there is so much white in it. They're actually not that dark until they get dark. Anyway,
plenty of contrast, baby. There's plenty of contrast.
I think
we're done.
That is it.
I think we're all good.
Bring it on home.
All right. Firstly, thank you very much, Adam, for joining us, mate. It's been a plethora of information about Trench Crusade, which we simply do not have. So much appreciated. And I am sure the listener, singular, appreciates it as well.
Are you going to listen to this episode, Brett?
I mean, I listen to them all, and I will appreciate it. So I am that one person on Spotify that listens. If you are not me and you happen to be listening, by all means, give us a follow, Facebook, Spotify, Podbean. And as always, really appreciate, the support from our Patreons. They help us in no uncertain terms, especially, of course, our thoughtless Patreons, and Cody, Gertzy, and Jared. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. On that note, thank you very much for listening. Laters.
Gotcha.
Bye.
Carry on.
straight, it will not bend. Maybe they will never end. It's never ending. Episodes blending.